Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of IDENTECO After Dark, our fun little podcast where we talk about TV, music, movies, and more, and a little bit of gaming. My name is Mallo. I'm back!
He's back
for
again.
Tonight, until I gotta go back on the road. I am joined by my co-conspirator for life. It's Alex the Humanoid. Alex, say hello to the people.
What's going on, everybody?
Oh, my goodness. We got a ton to talk about tonight.
Yes.
We really do.
Yeah.
And my Windows doesn't want to work with me tonight. There we go.
Apparently.
Trying to see the chat and everything like that. Look at, we got a train getting close to that too.
We're getting close.
What's going on? What's going on, Brooks? What's going on, Tip? How's it going, y'all?
It's going good. It's busy days, but you know, it's almost like we're back in studios in like how we've done this for forever. So
yeah,
we got stuff going.
Mal's
got the blue light on in the studio again.
I do have the blue light on. It's back to basics.
Yes.
But before we get started, I do want I'd like everybody to give us F's in chat for my stream machine. Just F's to pay respects, please. It died. It has served me for 11 years of streaming.
And it was it was crushed.
I might pull the, it has all the backups of all the old episodes and stuff like that on it too. I might pull all of this stuff off, and we might go full on Office Space with it just for a short. You see what I did? I'm bringing some topics from the thing. We might just shoot a shorts on it.
There you go.
From there.
You know, I've got a shotgun we can use. Chat wants to know if you're going to rebuild it or are you buying a new one?
If they would like to sponsor us, NZXT has been the gaming rig and the main driver of the programs for the past 2 years plus. So I know they sponsor a lot of streamers. NZXT, if you want to holla at your boy, come holla at me.
I'm using your system monitor right now, NZXT. Like that's the one I use when I'm on stream to make sure my computer does not explode.
They have a Ryzen build, which is fantastic because this particular stream, the box that I've been using was a Ryzen film. It was the first Threadripper, and so it served both as the stream machine and it would go back and do all of the edits. So I could literally stop a show, run through everything on OBS, and render it out before I went to bed that night. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Chat's pointing out that EVGA, I don't know if you'd heard about this. I actually think we talked about this. No more graphics cards in January from EVGA. They're done.
I'm calling BS on that, and I think they're going to swap that up come Q4.
You think they're just doing it to piss off Nvidia?
100%. I think it's a play to piss off Nvidia a little bit.
Okay.
And I think it's 70% of their sales, or 80%, 70 to 80% of their sales, they said. And you don't go making decisions like that lightly. And I'm not saying that they did. I'm just saying that you don't go full nuclear on that, or if you JW nuclear, without careful consideration of what the backup is. And if it's not going to be Nvidia GPUs, are they going to try to really invest in the AMD processors? Or could they go and sign a deal with Intel Arc and be a back-end provider of these kinds of things? Because MKBHD, Marquise Brownlee, just did a build from Linus Tech Tips, actually, that had the Intel Arc on it. And it's meant to be running, he's using it mostly as a gaming PC because he does a lot of Final Cut Pro in his editing and stuff like that. I tend to use Premiere, which is, cross-platform and things like that. And so, where do they go next with something like that, right? Like, you've got to be having something to make the money back from there. So
it's so weird. I mean, and I swore by EVGA graphics cards. Like, I have purchased many of them over the years. I think the one in my current rig isn't. We both go look like, what the fuck is in the current rig? The rig I just bought has an Asus, but I have so many EVGA cards.
Yes. Actually, I think the one that was in the stream machine was an EVH or EVGA. EVH is Eddie Van Halen, so that's in the back wall.
There you go.
I think it was an EVGA 1070 Ti, which tells you how long I've had that machine.
That's a long time.
Yeah. In the current machine that runs the platform at the moment is a gigabyte. And it's not bad, but EVGA was always kind of the standard bearer when it came to Nvidia. I'm just like looking for all of these things. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes and comes up from there. But I'd be interested to see, like, they can't just like throw everything out the window, right? Like they've got to have a backup plan.
It really does seem like tossing out the baby with the bathwater. I mean, I know that the graphics card industry has been funky these last few years. Obviously with cryptocurrencies kind of taking a dive, like you can get a hold of graphics cards now, which is great. And I know they've been working really hard to try and hardware lock out Bitcoin mining from like gaming's graphics cards and coming out with specific products for them. But yeah, it does seem like they're tossing out the baby with the bathwater.
Speaking of, too, the 40 series just got announced, yesterday?
Something like that.
The 4060, 4070, 4080, 4090s just got announced yesterday from Nvidia.
Which is silly to me a little bit because, quite frankly, most games out right now on the PC, you can run just fine with the 20 series or later.
Yes.
Really, most of them you can run with the 10 series if you're not trying to like go like hyper on your frickin' graphics stuff.
Yes.
It's super easy.
No, I agree with that. I agree. And I think it's the thing, too. I think I'm running like a 2070 in mine.
Yeah. So
now. I'll go up to the 30 series with the new one, obviously, because I want the graphical processing for if I go back to using Premiere and stuff like that on the stream machine just to like have everything there. But
so my old box had a 2080 and the one I have now is a 30 series, the one I just bought.
Yeah.
You know,
and they're really good processors. I just don't know what the 40 series is going to give us besides a bump, or maybe it's a reduction in price. Because they did announce some pretty easy-going prices.
Well, what did they do?
That.
They did the 3060 Ti that was only like $399?
Yeah. Well, I think like a 4070 or a 4080 is only going to be like $899. 4080, 12 gigs, 16 gigs, yeah. So you're getting more RAM out of it, getting more memory, which is good.
I guess.
If you're rendering video.
I mean, and again, that's my point, is like the software is not keeping up with the hardware by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, the what is it called? Bottleneck is usually at the CPU and the motherboard area anyways. So you can have all the throughput in the world on the GPU, but if you're not utilizing the throughput on your motherboard, then it's useless, right? Like,
absolutely,
you gotta really have them synced up. You know, it's better to go downgrade a card, but make that card work really, really well with your CPU, especially if you're doing like rendering or hardcore kind of things like that, than it is to like go blow out one of those Gigantor Titans and stuff like that and put it in a motherboard that can only handle so much.
No, absolutely. You know? Hey, Rick and Ras joined the chat. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, Rick and Ras, welcome in.
And yes, Mallo's cat has been like cameoing in the background for the last few minutes. They were bathing themselves, so good job, kitty.
He's doing his thing.
He is. All right.
Speaking of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, look at that segue.
Yeah,
I still got it.
I love it.
HBO and all like that. Discovery's thinking about selling Warner Brothers already?
So, yeah. So this report from the Hollywood Reporter is saying that Zaslav and Discovery bought HBO with the idea, possibly, of flipping it fast and selling it to Universal.
Yeah.
Which is owned by Comcast. So basically, Comcast would own Warner Brothers at that point. Here's the thing. I don't know if this is a play. I don't know if he's actually thinking about selling it to Comcast. I hope he doesn't, because I think it's bad to sell it to Comcast. Yes, F Comcast. Thank you, Tip. That is absolutely true. F Comcast. But, and I'm not even on Comcast at the house anymore. I finally ditched them. So,
good.
I'm on fiber now. Screw them. So, not even for the internet. It puts a lot of his moves lately into very stark. It puts it in a very different context. Everything he's been doing, he has been cutting, canceling, delaying, moving. If he's trying to cut this stuff down, That might be the play.
It might be the play. And I think it's so. Here's the interesting thing. As I started to pull up Reddit to go along with this, so AEW, the wrestling. So this one goes out to Pete. I know Pete's at the store tonight, but when Pete watches this back, this one's for you, buddy, because AEW is on a tear right now, and it is the biggest competitor to the WWE right now, when it comes to professional wrestling, at least. They're going back and forth for number one on cable on their respective nights. Like we're having a heyday for professional wrestling out there in terms of content. The problem is that NBC Universal has all but purchased the WWE. For all intents and purposes, they're a separate company, but NBC Universal and the Peacock carries all of their what they're now calling premium live events. There's no more pay-per-view because you either pay for the Peacock subscription or nothing, really. It carries all of the replays of their shows, other than Fox for their Friday night program. Everything is on an NBC Universal show. So if they were to flip Warner Brothers, who owns stake and owns the TV rights, at least, to AEW, what the hell does that do, dude, to the TV rights around the board? Like, that's insane.
Well, it's further corporate consolidation in the entertainment industry. And I'm actually gonna tie this to what somebody just asked in chat. Disney doesn't want to monopolize the comic to Cinema Field and buy them for DC. I don't think Disney would get away with it. And the reason I don't
have a hard time believing that too.
I think the Federal Trade Commission would probably kibosh that deal. And the reason is, you got to remember, there used to be 8 major studios, and then it went down to 6. Disney bought Fox and 20th Century Fox, which is one of the major production studios, and that now they're further consolidated. I think we're down to 4, right?
Yeah.
Of the major studios. It's either 4 or 6. So even if Disney wanted to, they couldn't. Now, what's interesting about that, when you bring up Disney, when Disney went to buy Fox, Comcast said, we're allowed to put a bid on it. We want to bid. We're going to bid. And they put in a bid. Now, most people think that their bid was only to drive the price up, just to make Disney pay more. Right?
Yeah. I remember that discussion we had at the time, actually.
Right. And so it is likely that they never intended to buy Fox. They just wanted to make Disney pay more.
Yeah.
This is one where they might get away with this one, consolidating Warner Brothers under Universal. But again, because it's not just about DC. It's about their catalogs that Warner Brothers owns, right?
Yeah.
Discovery's pissed a lot of people off because they've been pulling stuff off of HBO Max that Warner Brothers just owns. They don't have to take it off, but they are, right?
Yeah. I mean, but it makes business sense. So to clarify something about the Fox piece too, Disney owns 21st Century Fox, not Fox Corporation anymore.
Yeah,
Fox Corporation still has Fox News, the Fox Entertainment Division, Fox Sports, which is actually their biggest moneymaker, and the TV stations that are labeled Fox.
Yeah, well, and they weren't allowed to buy Fox. The regulars were like, Fox Sports? No, you already own ESPN. You can't have both.
Right. I think if Disney were to try to get DC, it actually would be for the IP and for the comics division, and they'd probably reboot the hell out of everything for the movies division and stuff like that further down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Tip says in chat Sony, and that's an interesting one to me.
They don't have the cash.
You don't think they have the cash?
I doubt it. I can check.
Do you have a corporation as Sony does?
I don't think they've got the cash. It would have to be a cash stock deal, and I'll be honest, I don't think they've got the cash to do it.
Who would be the best, assuming that Discovery does flip them? Who's the best one
besides Comcast?
Besides Comcast. Let's not consolidate anymore. Who's the best one out of that? Still they buy the Feds, dude. Fish taking over the world. Thanks, Brooks.
Ooh. they'd have to sell it. Viacom might have the money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's under Paramount Global.
I know who I would like them to do.
Hang on, I'm looking to see what kind of cash they've got.
Okay.
Yeah, Sony's not in the top 20. Sony doesn't have the money.
Okay. So you're saying Viacom, owners of Paramount Plus,
yeah,
and CBS, and all of that.
Yep. Yeah, Sony's market cap's only 91 billion. I know I'm saying only.
Only
91 billion.
It's okay. Elon and Jeff probably still have more money than them. Let's see what the net worth is. Yeah, 141 billion. So,
Yeah.
He's got more than the whole damn company.
Yeah. They could buy Sony. I'll be honest. Charter, maybe.
Charter's an interesting one. Yeah.
Maybe. Because they're like Comcast. They're a telecommunications company. They own a bunch of cable companies.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of holding companies. I'm looking at their. Boy, there's a lot of Delaware LLCs under there.
90 something along the lines of like 80 to 90% of major corporations have a Delaware LLC.
Yep.
Including Amazon and Apple and all them.
Yep. Charter might be able to pull it off.
Yeah. Charter used to be Warner. Yes, it is. Yep.
Charter Communications could. I mean, their market cap's still pretty low.
Yep.
But theoretically, depending on how much did they buy.
Well, I'm gonna talk while you're looking that up. I'm gonna talk to Chad here for a second because Tip was talking about the only one that remembers that Image, IDW, and Dark Horse still exist for comics. Those are my three favorite right now because they carry the non-Marvel and DC stuff for the most part. Like, I prefer a lot more of the small print for the comics and things like that these days because they've got the better stories. You've got Saga, you've got, I was reading, like, House of Golden Bones, Killjoys, like, you name it on those kind of imprints, and I think they're just better. Like, the superhero thing is good for the cinema right now, but it's just not... I'm not feeling it when it comes to the comics right now. After reboots of Grifter and Voodoo, yeah. Sonic IDW has been killing it. I haven't had a chance to read that one yet. I should probably get something I could read on the road. So are you still sticking with Charter? Is that your choice right here?
Charter's really the only one of the large media conglomerates that could probably pull it off, besides Comcast. Now, here's the thing: Comcast, even then, the regulators may come in and push that one away from Comcast. I'm not sure whether Comcast could even make that purchase. That would be there'd be a court fight over that one. They're running awful close to antitrust. Amazon got away with buying MGM because they didn't own a studio before.
Yep.
Right. The Disney consolidating Fox was surprising, and even back then, a lot of people thought the regulators might put the kibosh on the deal. And they let it go through. But that was because there were still a lot of studios left. If Warner Brothers falls under, like, gets sold to Comcast, I would not be surprised if the regulators stop that one. It's an interesting concept. Again, the fact that it's not a crappy outlet reporting that this is in Zaslav's possible wheelhouse.
I would say that just about anything's in his wheelhouse right now. I have two Dark Horse picks.
What do you got?
One is a like 50% gray pick, and then one's like a true Dark Horse pick. My 50% gray pick would be Apple, because if there's one company that could do the Warner Brothers catalog correctly,
and they have the money,
and they have the money, and they have the wherewithal, and they have the streaming to do enough with that, and they could mobilize their studios division to be as big as Amazon's, or even, well, we dog on Netflix a lot, but you know, they could mobilize enough in Santa Barbara and in Culver City to really make it happen.
That might be enough to put the death kill to Netflix.
Absolutely.
That might do it.
Yeah. That's my 50% gray pick. My dark horse pick for it is actually for Microsoft to swoop in and actually.
I was wondering if you were going to bring up Microsoft.
Because they're one of the few big whatevers. I mean, you could put Facebook in there too, but please no. But like, they're one of the few big hardware manufacturers and software manufacturers in the country that doesn't have they rely on license deals alone for the content on their stuff.
Except for their video game stuff where they're acquiring people like mad.
Right. But think about if you had the streaming if you had an Xbox Live streaming service right alongside of it.
With all the Warner stuff.
Brothers, yeah. All the Warner Brothers catalog.
Well, and specifically HBO Max. What you've got is HBO Max.
And guess what? The demographics of people buying Xbox and the demographics of HBO Max tend to go real nice hand in hand together.
And HBO is still the benchmark for prestige television.
It really is. Yeah. I mean, it's only taken up by your Apples and stuff like that of the world where, you know, you get your Ted Lassos, you get your Severance, stuff like that. But like, that's kind of how, like, Apple is doing what Netflix did and basically trying to pass it off that they did it first, which is totally what Apple does. Please see the iPhone, the Apple Watch, everything. And so, like, when you get into the kind of the thing about it, so it's like, but the thing that Netflix didn't do was go acquire a really big catalog. They've just been either making a ton of their own stuff or just licensing a ton of things to go through their service. And so it's interesting to kind of see where that could go. I would be interested to see if Apple came a knocking, or even Microsoft. If I was in the entertainment division at Microsoft, knowing the hardware that they're putting out and the way that they're targeting people in terms of like the new consumer goods and things that they're making, I would very much look at something like that if I were.
Microsoft was in the back of my mind, but I had dismissed it. But you're right; they might be a possibility.
I'm throwing curveballs all day.
I mean, it's not a bad call, and for Apple, it's probably a smart move. And that's the other thing too, is again, much like the Comcast trying to run up to bid on 20th Century Fox, Zaslav's camp may be leaking this to see what they can do to spur somebody like Apple or Microsoft, who may have been making like double entendres about possibly acquiring it, into actually doing it. Now, that being said, if it's Microsoft, they're not going to just buy Warner Media out from underneath Discovery. They're going to buy Discovery because they're going to want all that like nature and all the other programming, because what Discovery has, and the reason Discovery was able to even make that purchase, is they've been really good, especially with HGTV, Food Network, all of these other ones that they own, in producing high volume, extremely profitable, and super cheap to produce content.
Yes.
It costs them next to nothing to produce an episode of House Hunters International where they're both underwater basket weavers and their budget is $2.4 million. Okay. But
every house in House Hunters has a hidden Xbox console somewhere in it.
And that's what they're going to do. It'll be,
and next E3, Guy Fieri shows up on stage to play some games.
All right.
Because, you know,
but let's hey, look, Guy Fieri is the real MVP.
No, he really is. But he also does gangbusters at these trade shows. I know that from personal experience. Like when you say that Guy Fieri is coming by a booth and they're going to do stuff, like people show up. Like it's a no-brainer if you think about it. But it's just the juxtaposition of like Bethesda games and like Gears of War and stuff like that with like Jada De Laurentiis and Bobby Flay
and Flipper Flop.
Flipper Flop, yeah. It's the Property Brothers.
Yes,
you know,
there we go. I love the Property Brothers. By the way, you know one of them's like engaged to the girl from New Girl to Zoe Deschanel.
Yeah. Well, actually, I thought they were already married.
Are they
still
married
engaged?
now? They might be married now. But yeah, what is with Zoe Deschanel? And I was like, what the? How did that happen? All right.
6 degrees of separation from Zoe Deschanel. I think also dated Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie.
Probably.
Who also dated one of my close friends. So
there you go.
I'm somehow now connected to the Property Brothers, I think, by logic.
There you go.
That logic. Chat, tell me, but I think that logic goes
I'm
out.
sticking with it.
Yeah. Speaking of curveballs, Twitch put out a fun one today. That in an open letter from Twitch President Dan Clancy on new subscription revenue shares. And it's not for a lot of folks, it's very, very polarizing. And I know we're on Twitch right now, live. Hi, how's it going, Twitch? Woo! Did you guys mess this one up, I think? So, I'll give you a little bit of background. So, if you're partnered, you are getting 50-50 split of your revenue share. I think if you are affiliate, what are we getting? Which rev share?
Yeah, we're 50-50.
Are we 50-50?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Which is going up to 70-30 revenue split for the first $100,000 that you gain in revenue.
Yeah.
So for partnered creators, the first $100,000 they make 70 of that, minus taxes and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they're going back to the 50-50 revenue split. A lot of people are, well, first of all, Twitch has been shedding its big people, its big streamers to YouTube for these contracts. Google is just throwing money at people. Which, by the way, Google, if you'd like to throw money at us, we're taking offers. I don't understand the sudden change in flip in why they're doing this and why make it so complicated. It seemed like there was a pretty good revenue share. Maybe they're trying to continue to maybe try to hang on to a couple of folks. They also just announced that you don't have to have exclusive deals per se. So if you want to stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, go right ahead.
That was the big one that happened a few weeks ago, was the dual streaming. And it's something we've been looking at and something we may end up looking at for Identico. Because we're not restricted anymore, right? There used to be the 7-day wait on putting it to YouTube, and there also was the you can't simul stream. Now you can, right? As to why they're making it this complicated, my guess is, and the analysis I've read on this is, so many people were mad about the 70-30 above, like for the big streamers, as opposed to the 50-50, which is what everybody else gets, that they were like, no, it should be 70-30 across the board. And they were like, you know what? Screw it. We're just going to screw everybody. Yeah. Right? Y'all are mad? Fine. You're mad. Be mad.
I'm getting live updates, by the way, from a Twitter conversation that's happening, like a bunch of streamers and stuff like that going around. The prevailing headline, and this is where we get slightly personal when it comes to the Identico side, was somebody basically said in the conversation today, Twitch is a place, Twitch is not the place you go where you want to find growth. Because if you don't get partnered, like I get it. You want to keep the big people around. Like, you need to keep the Nick Mercs. You need to keep, who else do we have left?
I mean, their top 100 are names.
XQC, right? I guess, PD,
right.
Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know who's still streaming for Twitch these days.
XQC's number 2, Tarek freaking, who else? 2, ESL CSGO, El Mariana. I mean, there's Hassan Abi.
There's probably some at 1G and stuff like that in there somewhere, right? I imagine.
Yeah, Nick Merckx.
Yeah.
There's a Japanese guy who I don't recognize. You know, I mean, there's some big names in there.
It's
Summit is in there.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's the because probably while we have been streaming, somebody's been given an ad before a pre-roll without our knowledge because we don't have pre-rolls on in the back end. We have a choice of in the mod view and in the admin view. We have a choice of when we can run ads, and sometimes we used to do, especially when we were running Angel City Stories and we had the break in between.
Yeah,
we would run advertising just to pay some bills. If we can get a little bit of ad revenue for times that we were going to be away from the computer anyways, like peace, let's do it. But this bit where it's just putting up the big folks in there to trying to like run on the coattails, like 99% of the people, Twitch says 90%. I would probably say 99% of Twitch streamers, and I'm including those people that aren't even in affiliate programs just yet. Like they don't have great ways for you to grow an audience. Like you almost have to grow the audience somewhere off of Twitch.
Yep.
And then funnel it into Twitch
and bring
to try to get
there.
the ad revenue.
And that's because Twitch is never like YouTube will send you down an algorithmic rabbit hole and show you new people that you didn't know existed. Twitch's system is not set up to do that, right? Like if I watch Sam Cedar on YouTube, it's going to show me 5 other YouTubers who are talking about similar things.
Yeah.
Rook and Rast says in the chat, doesn't matter where you stream if people can't find you. Facts. That is true. Like, and there's ways, and I have talked to, in fact, I was just talking to Gator Pete about this a couple weeks ago. There are ways to game the system, right? To figure out ways to get eyeballs on you. But that's only if you don't have a specific brand that you're aiming at, right? And by that I mean, we do Identico here. We're not going to just, and you and I talked about this, but it just seemed pointless at the time. We're not going to start streaming Fortnite just to grab subs.
Right.
To
screw over gaming in general.
Yeah. Well, and
I mean, Dr. Disrespect, Tim the Tap Man, Dr. Lupo, Pokimane, Courage JD, Valkyrie, like they are all talking to YouTube and basically giving them Twitch's playbook from the back end. Having all signed exclusive contracts with Twitch previously and now signing exclusive contracts with YouTube. I would probably say that YouTube is making like beyond just trying to get the big names over to YouTube. I think they're really trying to make the big play into streaming overall because Twitch still has the majority of the streaming revenue from advertising.
Well, and so this is where it comes down, and there's a couple things on this. And I was talking to somebody at my store about this the other day because they were asking me about Twitch and YouTube. And I said, and the best way I can explain it to anybody who doesn't know in the chat or anybody who's watching this later, to reach the level where you are allowed to monetize, where you are able to monetize, that barrier on Twitch is so, and I mean, I cannot even it is miles apart on how much easier it is to get to monetization on Twitch than it is on YouTube. Okay. That it is literally the path to affiliate, which is when you are allowed to start monetizing your Twitch stream, is so much easier and so much faster than meeting the minimum metrics required to apply for the YouTube partner program, right? Which is where you can start pulling in YouTube ad revenue, which is where you can monetize your stream or your channel through YouTube. But my understanding is that the way that the cutout goes for YouTube pays better.
Well, YouTube is a flat 70-30 split. And that's the 70-30 split that's been there for...
Except for shorts.
Shows. Shorts just changed now too, didn't they?
Yep. YouTube's coming after TikTok, by the way. While we're on this whole like streaming video social media thing, YouTube is coming after TikTok, and they're trying to pull TikTok creators, and I think they're going to do it because TikTok, and let me tell you all something about TikTok. It is easy to monetize on TikTok, much like Twitch. Like, you talk about Twitch doesn't pay well, TikTok, unless you are north of 5 million followers.
Yeah.
Like, my store TikTok is monetized. We make squat.
Yeah.
Right? Rook and Raps is saying they've had a YouTube channel for 2 years, still aren't monetized. Affiliates since our second month on Twitch. We're in the same boat, Rook and Raps. I think IDENTECO's pretty close to that. We were affiliates second, third month when we really started going at it.
Yeah.
And
really
yeah,
hit the ground
we've had a YouTube channel for like 2.5 years, still aren't monetized. It's just YouTube's the barrier to entry for monetization on YouTube is just way higher. And most of the major YouTubers I watch who do stream on YouTube monetize on outside systems.
Yeah.
By using things like super chats on Stream Elements or other systems to monetize their streams through YouTube. They're not doing it through YouTube's system because YouTube's system for that is just not good.
To apply for YouTube monetization, because I brought it up and I compared to our numbers here. You need 1,000 subscribers, which I know you can buy subs. Okay, I don't want to call it like, I don't want to like put the bad things out there, but you can legitimately buy subs. That's the easy part. Like, in all honesty, and a lot of people really do. It's the 4,000 hours of public viewing that takes a lot, because if you think about the fact that like you would need several viral videos for that to happen,
if we got how many, you've got a playlist there for Angel City Stories.
Yep.
How many videos do we have posted in that playlist?
Well, there's 53 episodes of Angel City Stories.
Okay.
So 51 total, because I put some in the one shot.
51 times 2 hours, it's 100. Let's call it 100 hours, just to be nice, even numbers. We would have to do, you said 4,000 hours?
It's 4,000 public watch hours.
Okay.
It says that, here's the kicker. It says we're at 619, almost 620, but it only counted 300 of that. So I don't know what it is that they're counting. If it's just like,
right.
Not
so
us, I don't know.
With 51 and things like that, like, it's so much. 4,000 hours would be, Oh, and wait, there's another one there about consistent posting too.
No, you just have to have 2-step verification, 0 community strikes, 1,000 hours, or 1,000 subscribers, and 4,000 hours.
They used to have like a minimum number of videos and like consistent posting you had to do to prevent people from getting one viral video and being able to go to partner.
I feel sure there is part of that in there. Well, and don't confuse that. Twitch has, to get to the partner program, you have to have a consistent 75 viewers. You have to have so many hours per 30 days. And then once you get to be partner program, you think you have to stick to at least the number of days streaming, knowing that viewership kind of jumps up and down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and I feel sure that YouTube probably has the same algorithmic timing. The difference is, and I've heard from folks like Lupo and some others, is that YouTube, when they went over there, they have a lot less streaming revenue in terms of like memberships and stuff like that. Because like right here, and I'm going to ask everybody to do it, if you would like to spend Jeff Bezos's money, please drop your Prime sub in the chat. That is a free $2 that helps keep this stream going. And apparently we need to get a new stream box. So, the money that we have made, being what it is, has helped keep things going, especially during the pandemic. Even for a small outfit like ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Critical Role still uses Twitch and YouTube. They were one of the people that first basically said, "Screw you, we're simulcasting."
Rogan Rest is bringing up multiple like large creators in the tabletop RPG space that still aren't monetized on YouTube. Somebody from Kobold Pressed, really, like they can't, like, yeah, that tells you how hard it is. It's not stinking easy on YouTube. This is the downside to YouTube. Now the flip side to that is, and again, I can say through genuine interactions, it's a lot easier to garner a crap ton of followers and stuff like that. Like, I'm actually starting to see this now. I'm starting to see a lot of major TikTok people push people to Twitch and YouTube and Instagram. Because again, Twitch or TikTok pays absolute crap. The only people like that if you've got enough followers, you can make money through like internal, like where you're getting paid by the brand to post TikToks. But that's not TikTok paying you. That's a brand, right?
Yeah.
Just like in video ads on YouTube. They're pushing people to other things because it's easy to get a following and get a large number of followers on TikTok. Like, it's super easy. Mm-hmm. Getting mini viral videos is not hard, right? There's some tricks to it, but getting yourself 1 or 2 viral videos is not difficult to do.
Right.
But yeah, monetization over there is absolute garbage. Now, this is where YouTube's coming after because they're giving a 45% revenue split for everybody that runs shorts. And they're lowering the bar where you can apply for monetization for people who post shorts.
Yeah, but I think you still have to have 10 million views over 90 days. Which I don't know if that's a lot for shorts because I don't do TikTok that much.
It's not. Now, and again, so TikTok generally counts a view about 4 seconds in, right? Like, they have to stop long enough to like see what's happening, right? If you look at TikTok metrics, when you go back into your TikToks, one of the key ones they do is retention, right? And show you the retention curve for every single video, right?
Right.
So if you post a 40-second video on TikTok, where does everybody go? And I'm scrolling.
Right.
Right? And that's part of how TikTok uses their algorithm to push stuff to your For You page, right? Is measuring both how much you stay on a particular type of video and how many people stay on your video longer.
Yeah. It's interesting too because Tip brings up in the chat that D20 Live uses Patreon, and we have talked about this a lot because I would love to be platform agnostic and just release content out there and just make content, period, and only use the platforms that people want to come and see us in. Patreon's not one for streaming. You can stream, I think, through Patreon, but it's not one for streaming. I would probably stream through YouTube and just, you can do private links and stuff like that.
Yeah, because you can post videos directly to Patreon for like patron-only videos and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. But the question that I always have, and I think this is where the crux of the argument gets to be with a lot of smaller streamers, is those couple $100 every other month or so, and then you got to cut like, and this is probably even more for other streamers who actually make this their living, is when do you take a chance on another platform and possibly not have the same viewership, not the same money structure? There are, because remember, streamers they don't have health insurance, they don't have 401k, they don't have days off technically. Like, if you own a partnered contract, like, you've got to stream a certain number of hours a week. And so when is it that you start to run into that fight or flight mentality to say, okay, I'm tired of being basically told what to do here, Yeah, they get some freedom of what they're streaming and kind of when they're streaming, but if we did this show during the daytime and it was a true talk show, right? And say we did it from the store or something like that, just to make it easy, it'd be a very different viewership model than what we have here at night. It's also wouldn't be called, After Dark because it's not After Dark, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's there's all the kind of things in there, right? And so when you start to kind of like push through and see where the issues that are coming up with this is, if you want money and this is the thing that I can't seem to understand about Twitch. If ad revenue is such a big deal, push more of the smaller streamers that are in the mid funnel or some of the ones that are in the smaller funnel, help them get up, because I have to think that like the few people that are watching us right now and the ones that go back and watch to us on YouTube, first of all, y'all are amazing people and we all love you. But second of all, I can't imagine that there's not another 50 people out there like you that would love to hear us talk and to hear the opinions and to talk in chat and things like that for it. The problem is the people just don't know. And that's why every time we close out the show, we say, if you can, let somebody know about the show, have them come in, follow us. We're less than 25 away from 200 followers here on Twitch. Well, and those kinds of numbers get to be pretty important later on.
And it's how do you garner that argument? And I would be curious if Rook and Rasp is still in the chat to hear about this, because I know on the tabletop RPG side, I was having a conversation with a creator that you and I know, and it one of the things that they said to me was, they said that they had been talking to another RPG creator, and they were like, sometimes it feels like with Twitter that we're all just advertising to each other, right? Yep. That there's no, like, the players aren't there. It's all just us, right? Everybody on Twitter is like, it's the writers and the creators and everybody else who's just like, I'm talking to Redemption Podcast. Redemption Podcast is advertising to me, and we're not really like finding the players who are out there listening and wanting to hear more content. With as many people as watch Critical Role, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be 50,000 of them that, if given like the right set of like triggers, like to pull them in, would go listen to other RPG podcasts.
Yep.
Right? So how do you reach that audience?
So I think the way that it kind of looks at with a couple things, and this is where I take my co-host hat off and I put my day job hat on. I would love, and this is just putting it out into the world, I would love to combine with places like Rook and Rasp and others to make a podcast network. And we focus a lot of this conversation, at least when it's you and I on, we focus a lot of this conversation on the business of entertainment and the business of games and things like that. I happen to know a thing or two about marketing.
A little bit.
It's a little bit. And I think there is strength in numbers, because I think what Critical Role does is spend a lot of money to make their stuff the way that it is. And I think what you have to do is try to have a combined group. It's a bit of strength in numbers in that you can combine the audiences as much as possible.
I know some people have tried that in the past. I think, this is sounding an awful lot like the RPG Academy did it with 10 plus shows. And I know, as far as I know, did that network, I thought Michael had shut that down. It
takes a lot of work, because that's the thing, is it takes a lot of work.
I think it's more than just the shows, though. I think this sounds an awful lot like a gaming co-op idea that I pitched a few years ago.
Well, I mean,
okay, so RPG Academy's network is still going.
Yeah, still going. Most of the shows on hiatus, but that's the thing, is like, if you had a place that could help you produce and market and do some of the back end things that a lot of folks, frankly, this is not, I love Michael, by the way. This is me not dogging on RPG Academy, because Lord knows I know how hard this is.
And we're sponsoring a Catacon.
And oh yeah, that's right. We're sponsoring a Catacon this year.
Don't forget.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, do you blame them for having a bunch of shows on hiatus? It takes a lot to have the quality. And Alex has heard me talk about this for a while, and we've got people who are now starting to help us a little bit with some of the shows, which creates creator burnout. And then, you have to run it like it's a business. And the co-op idea is one that Alex and I have been kicking around 4 years,
4 or 5
plus, maybe 4 or 5. And I think it's just one of the things of like, if you had a way to combine, right? And, I'm going to use, because your guys are in the chat, but, there is a little bit of the, your franchises are Rook and Rasp. Your franchise is, RPG Academy. Your franchise is Identico kind of thing. But they're all part of a certain network, right? So then you share, and this is happening in podcasting all the time, where you're sharing, you're sharing all sorts of different, you're sharing the revenue, you're sharing the ad space, you're making it easier to just get your stuff out in the market because it's strength in numbers. 3 years of consistency before you receive a return on investment. It can be done sooner than that.
If the co-op idea that we've been kicking around is,
but you got to invest.
Yeah, is functional. I think it could be sooner. I would need our short end estimates is we would need. The problem is we would need 75 to 100 creators like on day one. Like that's launch.
You could get away with 25. And that doesn't have to be 25 shows.
Actually, sorry. Now I think I could get away with 25 because I've got a different infrastructure now.
Right. We've got different infrastructure. But you're talking about it from the game side of it. I'm talking about it from the entertainment side.
I'm saying both, like all of it. Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's 25 across the two, then like I think that's where we're kind of getting at is a little bit. It's like if we had a singular network, right? And that had a show a night per se, or one show during the daytime, one show at night. It's almost like creating a full-on TV station in a lot of ways.
Yep.
It's a network, and there is a bit of the, showing the portfolio and getting the numbers up, because if you show numbers to an advertiser, then you start to get ads. And then you've got the ad revenue coming in. You can start working with the ad networks that come through, because there's a ton of them out there that are sponsoring podcasts.
Y'all keep Mallo entertained for 1 minute, but right back.
Yep. And so, welcome to Marketing Talk with Mallo. Now that Alex is gone, no. But if you're kind of working through those pieces, right, you're not worried necessarily about like subs and things like that become extra. And you take the things that you get from the ad revenue and from merch sales and stuff like that, right? You are able to consolidate into a singular storefront. It's easier to do social media, things like that for it. And there's a way to kind of make all of it work. It just takes the right set of people with a little bit of time. You like that the chair did a full spin. I mean, chair knows what's up. Chair and I go way back. We're just having this conversation. You guys just happen to be here with us. It's fine. Chair and I, we go way back. It's cool. It's cool. We were with a group called Southgate Media for 3+ years, doing 4 shows out of a couple hundred. Big secret: Apple gives more access to large networks. They do, and everyone out there does as well. You have to show that you swing above your weight class, which means you have to go, and actually Alex and I were talking about this. No, actually Pete and I were talking about this earlier today, because to go back to my professional wrestling analogy, to be the quote unquote top person in a wrestling business, everybody knows, spoiler alert, that wrestling is predetermined. The winners and losers are predetermined. It's not fake. I don't want to hear fake because the chair shots hurt. But it is predetermined, right? But to be the champion, it's not that you're fighting up the hill or anything like that. It's that you're showing that you're a draw, right? And you have to take the same kind of idea to doing entertainment like this, and saying, that you're a draw, and you show these things, and then you start to get a little bit of respect, and you start to build something for the networks. Without that, then yeah, you're going to be seen as a smaller streamer, and you have to kind of continue to keep hitting on all of those marks for it. That requires investment, it requires time, it requires dedication. And the thing about the gaming industry with the, Critical Role did not start as full time. You know, they happen to live out in LA and they're doing voice acting for very successful things. That's what got them the stuff for Geek and Sundry, and then eventually their own network and stuff like that. Which, you know, in between there, they were owned by not Sky House. What was the other one that owns Geek and Sundry and all like that? Before they broke off to their own incorporation, they were owned by another company, right? And so like there's ways to kind of maneuver. So it's not just Critical Role. Like they also had an infrastructure back there. They were a franchise and a property that people wanted to purchase. So scripted, how dare you? We got instant uploads and releases, no wait time, instant cross-platform linking. It was amazing. I mean, there's ways. I mean, holla at us. Are we making ideas on podcast right now, Alex? Is that what we're doing? I don't know.
I mean, I'm here for
master plan to the world. So
you and I have been kicking this around for a long time, and again, the infrastructure beyond when we were talking about this in theory is a lot different now than it was 5 years ago. Yep. And I think we're a little more established. Yeah, thankfully. And we've learned a few more things about this industry that I think put it into a better position. You want to go? Let's rock. What's our next one? I know we have more on the rundown.
Well, we got one more to talk about tonight, and it's the GTA 6 leaks. Man, basically spoiling half the game at this point.
That was embarrassing for them.
So I'm going to start off by saying in my world, I've had products leak. I've had things go because reporters and others don't want to hold embargo correctly and stuff. And it's a bummer. It sucks. And I feel for the developers who are fighting hard to make a good game and to try to one-up GTA 5 and GTA Online.
But
that's not easy to do.
No.
That's not easy to do. I really enjoyed several playthroughs of GTA 5. I've played online. Online's a little clunky for my taste, frankly. If they
it doesn't have the grab for me. Yeah.
No. I actually have a really good idea for a video game that I would love to put into thing. I'll talk about it in a little bit, but like to the leaks, they got 90 pieces of footage and clips out. That is a huge data breach.
So if I was in
internal security, I'd be freaking out right now.
So my understanding is that the footage is not what somebody grabbed an alpha or early build of the full game. It's source code, right? And then they loaded it on their box and they started recording what they found. So what leaked out of Take-Two was not just gameplay footage. It was the full crush of a large portion of that game.
It sucks on the several things because, the source code gets out there. Is it a finished product? No, but the problem is that if the source code gets into certain people's hands and stuff like that, then you can automatically make cheats for it. And then, day one, there's a bunch of cheats and exploits and on a game that will be likely driven by at least the online gameplay with microtransactions and shark cards. I mean, GTA 5 outside of World of Warcraft and others, or maybe even if it's eclipsed it, I don't know, I haven't looked it up in a little while, but it's like one of the highest grossing video games of all time, period. Yeah. Because of its online components.
Take-Two's Ryan's in their Take-Two cybersecurity department is going nuts right now. As somebody who's conducted internal investigations of leaks and other stuff, I will tell you it's not that they're just going nuts. The cybersecurity department's not going nuts.
No.
They're mad. Right?
The middle management is going nuts because they're the ones being dragged in front of the people.
Because they've confirmed the leak, they also know where it came from.
Yes.
Jason Schreier, who I generally trust his reporting and his sourcing, and I think he's hinting at a source that he doesn't want to reveal yet, is saying this may limit work from home flexibility for their employees soon.
Yeah.
My guess is somebody had a build of this somewhere off their VPN.
Yeah.
Or they tunneled through on the back end.
I would probably go out to say too, and give me your thoughts here is, well, it's not this game is going to be fine.
Oh no, the game's
Rockstar's
going to be
fine.
By the way, can we talk a little bit about what's in there?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Let me finish.
Yeah, go.
It seems like for the source code, I know that they put out the statement that says, we had an intrusion and all that kind of stuff, but like, let's be real about this. 90% of the hacks in the world are not done because of like brute force hacking.
No, it's social engineering.
It's social engineering, phishing, all of that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking that you've either got a disgruntled employee or you've got
former employee.
That's done, a former employee probably. Yes, I've had to deal with those investigations myself. So, like, when you get to something like that, then it's an interesting sort of like play to kind of see, But I don't think, to your point, and I want to hear what you're excited about in this because there's several things I'm excited about, but I don't think it's going to hurt. I don't think it's going to hurt the game at all.
It's not going to hurt the game. From a do I think it's going to sell one less unit based on what happened here? No, absolutely not. In fact, I think because most of the feedback on what leaked was, holy crap, this is an early build. This looks great. Like this looks really solid. Like, so do I think it's going to hurt GTA 6? Not in the least. Really, for them, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that it calls into question what else, because here's the thing, if they grab this, the other thing that the security department is worried about is,
yes,
they grabbed this. Could they have other shit?
Yeah, you're always worried about that.
That's what they're more concerned about.
What's the extent of the wildfire that just got started?
Yeah.
Essentially.
They've supposedly called in the FBI to assist with their investigation. The FBI's got a pretty reasonable cyber crimes unit. And VT Pilots, their IT group is looking through vulnerabilities. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. And there's going to be a guy like I used to be when I was in a consulting firm who's literally going to be writing white papers on this for months. Yes. Right? Which is crap out a 4-page paper with an executive summary that explains to the executives how the hell this happened and how we prevent it in the future. Now, I will guarantee you somewhere inside of Take-Two Interactive is somebody's white paper that was written by a cybersecurity guy / physical security guy 5 years ago that found this. There is none of these companies.
Vulnerabilities.
And I'm telling you, so I did, and I'm still under NDA, so I have to be very careful here. I did a combined consult. This was, 9 years ago, right? Where, because again, like Mallo said, most of them aren't brute force. It's not technical.
Yeah.
Where physical and cyber kind of intersect. And I will tell you right now, you can tell some people where security vulnerabilities are, but until they get hit with it, they will not spend the money. They just won't do it.
Well,
they won't implement.
The thing that kills me about that too is that we've
somebody found this vulnerability years ago and told them it was there.
The thing that kills me is we've had how many of these exact kind of things if that's happened, if that's true. Mind you, that part is speculation.
Yeah.
But let's be real about how these things tend to work. Probably some diligent cybersecurity person inside the company probably noticed it already and probably did write a white paper about it or probably at least sent an email. Assuming that it wasn't, social engineering or something like that, but these kinds of things happen. And you would think that when somebody comes up with a cybersecurity threat that they would say, hey, maybe let's take this one seriously. How about it? I don't know. Nope. But I'm kind of in the same with you on this one is I know a lot of developers are very mad about this. Other developers that have gone out. I know Rockstar's mad about it. I know probably the devs on the inside are disappointed. Because you want to have your moment.
Well, and it's an incomplete piece of art. As a creator, as an artist, as a writer, it's deeply emotionally troubling when a piece gets out before you're ready, right?
Yes.
Like, I will hide writing until I'm ready for other people to look at it for a long time.
Yep.
And if somebody gets a hold of it before I'm ready for it to be shared with the world, that can be deeply devastating. Deeply, deeply devastating. So
Yes.
that to me is it's not the monetary thing. It's I feel bad for them because they had this piece of art shared before they were ready.
Well, and if they've got a trick up their sleeve, you know, I'm working on a particular project that over 3 years didn't leak at all, which was, first of all, insane in my mind. Super lucky for that. Because had it done, and all the work that you put in for so many years is just now all of a sudden spoiled out there, right? Like, that is a lot of time and effort and rewrites and work and all of the things that get out there. As a creator, right, as the creators of these games, they want to have a trick up their sleeves. They want to have a surprise because they want to elicit an emotion out of the users.
For sure.
You know, out of the viewers, out of the gamers, everything like that. And if you take that away from them, you've essentially taken away their art. And it's just theft at that point. And it's theft for no fucking reason besides to be like, oh, I put it out there. Look at this. It's like, just chill. Let us play the game. The game's coming eventually. And I say eventually because they haven't put a date on it.
Well, I mean, it's Rockstar, so it'll come out sometime before the heat death of the universe. They're very much, we put it out when we're ready.
Well, and there's something to be said about that because
and here's
love
the thing,
Red Dead Redemption.
Been a winning philosophy for them.
Yes. I mean, they say the same thing about Bethesda and some of these other, like, you know, they're the HBO Maxes of the gaming world.
Oh, for sure.
You know, EA is going to spit out, you know, a ton of games every year and stuff like that, and they're going to be okay at best. You know, when you get a Bethesda game or when you get, you know, one from Rockstar or something like that, yeah, it's a big deal, you know? Mm-hmm. And they want you invested in the world more than anything, right? Those are the differences, right? Is they want you invested in the world that they built. So I think that's the biggest kind of disappointment for this is that they're building this world, they're building it up, and then now, you know, cat's out of the bag and for some of this stuff. If you can stay away from the leaks, do it. I would. It's worth it enough to spend the extra time not to hear
again. If you're worried about spoilers, stay away from the leaks. I will say this, without saying what the leaks are. I am super excited for this game now, right? Yeah. I like GTA 5 was fine to me, you know, like it was fun. I had a good time with it, but I wasn't like technically it's a great game, but it just wasn't my I wasn't blown away by the story or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But this one, with what they've got planned, I'm excited again.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I want to see this game. Like, I want to play it now. Because I'm like, oh, this is what you do. Great. You know what?
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, do more of that.
Do more of that. Like, give me some of that. I'm excited. So.
Yep.
Free stuff for him.
Well, with that, I put a link in the chat. We'll put it probably in the show notes when it goes up as well.
Yes.
We have new merch. Speaking of supporting the thing. This is new merch. This is the first piece of merch outside of a sticker for our team at Chaos Incorporated. That is in time for the fall. It's a long sleeve t-shirt. It comes in 2 colors because Kaylee from the show convinced me today to make a second color.
Yes.
So it comes in fetching black. It also comes in pink. We have vetted the language on there. I just changed it actually earlier today to make sure it says Chaos Incorporated everywhere correctly. I'm learning Japanese. I'm not the greatest at Japanese, and I thankfully had a tutor to help me with this one. So it's a lot of fun. Go ahead and order. It's drop ship. So when you order, it's going to take a little bit of time to get it printed and mailed to you, but we'll get you there.
It is there.
But it is there. So it's also a completely redesigned Identico website that I did last night, or finished last night, I guess I should say, because I wanted to have it up in time for the show today. More to come on that website. We have more things that we're working on and doing, but it's all part of a little bit of a slight change that we're having with Identico overall, where we're having a lot more into the game and into the shows specifically. So I'm still roasting for the local forest fires here. Well, there is still the Angel City Stories logo shirt that is up on the website as well. We have only a few left of those. Those are shipping out of the Gamers Heaven store.
Yes.
So give us a look. Everything that you do here, even in small amounts, helps us support the show and keep it going. We've got more merch. I showed Alex a bunch of designs and ideas on Monday, I want to say.
Please, yes.
I think so.
No, it was Tuesday. Tuesday.
Something like that. Time's an illusion. It's a made-up construct by terrible
Yes, it was Monday. Yeah. Please know, like there is so much. And like in fact, I had to apologize to one of our casting. I had to apologize to Kayla today. I have been inundated with like planning docs and trying to figure out, especially after like Mallo came to my house with like 4 pages of notes and a legal pad the other day. Like I'm like, okay, here we go.
It's like the old days when we're planning.
Like I'm sitting here doing like, okay, how are we going to manage the time on this? And there is, and we hinted a little bit at it today. There's a lot coming. Yes, it's continuing to come. Our infrastructure is different now. Our processes are different now. I think we have a handle now on a different kind of development process.
Yes,
and we have stuff that we didn't have the first 5 years that we were in development on this. Yep. So.
For our friends at Rook and Rasp, when you're talking about that, like it's a totally different ball game for us now.
Oh yeah.
So, and part of that is because of you all.
Yes.
So, we put out these shirts, we put out merch, we put all these things. It helps us, but it's just as much fun for us to see this out in the wild, and see it on everybody wearing it at the stores, at the conventions, things like that. When you get one, take a picture, tag us on Instagram and Twitter, because I'd love to be able to show it off and show it out there. So, viewers like you, we're PBS. We're the PBS stations of the gaming world.
Yes.
Totally funded by the people, but also for the people.
Yes.
So,
is that it?
I think that's it.
All right.
We're done for the night.
Hey, remember, folks, Chaos Inc. next Tuesday, but there may be a special episode before next Tuesday.
There will be one.
Okay.
I said there will be one. There will be a special episode, period. Because I heard that I was at 36,000 feet at that point and when my stream cut off. But I heard that last week's episode was super spicy.
Yeah. It got interesting. So if you haven't, I think that one's still available VOD. We should have the YouTube ones up in the next couple of days. But it should still be available as a VOD on Twitch. So go check that out. Chaos Inc. will be back next Tuesday, and we're going to deal with the aftermath of I honestly am going to put this as like number 2, number 3 trauma in the history of all Identico Twitch like streams, all of our actual plays. Okay. Like this one was whoo.
Yeah.
Like
it's gonna be a spicy one.
And it's gonna be an interesting episode. So definitely pop in for Chaos Inc. next Tuesday.
Yep. Go check us out everywhere at Identico. Again, playidenteco.com is newly redesigned with more content on the way. Revival, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in another one. Yep. Yeah, well, no, Titus is up there too. We did a whole memoriam for Titus, so I think we're still
more or less traumatizing than Titus losing his face. That's a very good question, Gator Pete. Titus died. This person hasn't died yet.
He said yet.
We don't know what's going to happen to this person. We don't know what's going to happen. Because they have been
Stuff has happened. I'm going to talk over you because I don't want you to spoil it.
The opener is a chessboard, so I'm just going to say chess pieces are being moved and taken off the board.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my intro for this year.
There you go.
So there's a reason. It's important.
It's all chess.
It's foreshadowing.
Yes.
We might not look like it, chat, but we have giga brains. We know what we're doing.
Yes.
Nobody in the chat refute that, please.
Yeah.
For Alex the Humanoid, for everybody in chat, and for everybody watching along at home, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, drink your water, take your vitamins. For now, continue to wear a mask if you can. Be safe out there. There's still a lot going on, but just know that we love you.
We do.
We will see you again here next week.
Next week. Bye.
Ah!
See y'all later.
Good night, everybody.